Serving up a warm dish of the Triad's culinary fare, here's your weekly helping of food, news, and views. This is the man who ate the town.
Hey, folks, and welcome to episode 199 of the Man Who Ate the Town podcast. This is for the week of May 17th through 23rd, 2021. My name is Tim Beeman.
My name is Ray Morgan.
And we're opening the recipe box. We are recording this episode of the Man Who Ate the Town in the Less Desirable Studio South, a.k.a. my house. We are practicing social distancing and using Zoom, sponsored by Bull's Tavern. If you're listening to us on your favorite podcatchers like Apple Podcast, Stitcher, or Spotify, or any others like that, we'd appreciate a like, a follow, and a rating. Anything they will allow you to do, it would help us tremendously. And if you're listening to us on the Triad Podcast Network, welcome and thank you. This episode of The Man Who Ate the Town is brought to you by Carrabba's Italian Grill, located 587 South Stratford Road. This is no chain. This is a responsible family of restaurants. Carrabba's and their owner partners take the communities they serve very seriously. And for us, having Daniel Butner as a proprietario is the farthest thing from sucking that I can think of. Did you know that you can feed a family of 5 at home from Carrabba's?
Really?
Carrabba's family bundles can feed up to 5 people, family-sized portions of some of your favorite Carrabba's entrees. This is a short list, but you can choose from spaghetti, lasagna, penne carrabba, salmon saporito, chicken parmesan, chicken marsala, and there are others. All family-style meals include a side salad and bread, so it's a full meal for up to 5 people. Or in my house, 2 of us.
I was going to say, if there are 2, maybe there's leftovers, but no, apparently not.
Yeah, leftovers. That's funny.
I know, it's a funny concept.
Yeah. You can find out more and order your family meal from Carrabba's by visiting carrabbas.com. Still, almost everyone is hiring. I'm not going to go on to it about, go on about it this week, but I'm just saying, if you want your restaurants to remain open, you should tell your friends that are saying they can't find a job that they're full of it, that there is one available, tons, in fact.
Yes. In fact, I'm noticing the same thing here in Mount Airy, that all of the restaurants now have hiring signs.
Yeah.
Wendy's has a sign out front for a $300 signing bonus.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow. I don't know what to say about that.
Like, is there a wage pressure starting to build? It's been a very long time since we've seen any significant increase in wages.
True.
You want people to come and work for you, and they're not doing it. Why not? Well, they probably don't think it's worth that pay.
Yeah. Huh. Well, I know that we're getting ready to get to a point where wages are going to have to be not skyrocketing, but going to have to be
Gotta go up.
much higher, because no one's going to work for little bits of anything. Not in the restaurant business, because you can go.
It seems like a fair thing to say, if somebody puts in a full week's work every week, granted there's some vacation time here and there, but somebody's working full time, they should be able to afford to live.
Yeah.
A job should be able to bring enough income in that you can put a roof over your head, put food on the table, and clothes on your back for you and your family.
Right.
The
Right.
current wage system does not allow that. And where the difference is that profits are being skimmed out and are going to the corporate folks. They're going to the board members and the CEO, but it's not down at the level where the workers are. And so we've seen no significant increase in wages in the United States in the last 20 to 30 years.
Nope.
And there's definitely been an increase in how much everything costs.
Oh,
So
yeah.
we're continuing to push people further and further down while the people at the top get richer and richer and richer. And the system cannot sustain itself. It has to be changed. Within the last 100 years, corporations and wealthy folks were paying a 70 to 80% tax because they recognized that it was their fair share to help sustain the country, to do all of the work that needs to be done, to do infrastructure work, to build our schools back better, to give more equipment where it's needed. But right now, the folks at the top are just sucking it out of the system.
Yeah.
And it's going into their bank accounts. And what are they doing with it? They're just sitting on it. How many billions of dollars do you need in your bank account? And at what point, seriously, at what point is wealth just gluttony and needs to be addressed?
Gluttony is one of my favorite sins, though.
I hear you, brother. I'm right there with you. I'm working hard on learning to eat less.
Yeah. Yeah.
Lord knows I need to.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm sorry, I just got on my soapbox and off I went.
No worries. So, good news. La Batana is open all week, according to their Facebook page, although the week is still young. So,
the day is still
The
young.
day is still
Let's check
young.
it again in 15 minutes.
yeah, there could be. I mean, I'm not picking on La Batana. I just find it funny that they, more than anyone else on the list that I check anyway, are closed arbitrarily, it seems, at weird times just to be closed. And I know, again, there's things like construction and things come up and family things and all that stuff. But come on. It's just,
Well, generally, you'd think the idea about having a restaurant when it needs to be open.
yeah, it's hard to pay the
That's
power with the lights are on. You should be open. You know,
Yeah, I've checked. Duke Energy does not accept love as payment.
no.
They turn that down.
Yeah,
Can't believe they did, but-
mighty forcefully too. No.
It's like, sir, we'll take cash, check, or credit card. Okay, I'm sorry. I just wanted to give you some love and pay my bill. And they're like,
Well, you can
Cash.
still give us love, but we're just going to toss that in file 13.
we're going to toss that into the, man, you crazy.
So Washington Park and Provision Company is located at 301 West 4th Street. You'll find a little bit of everything at the park, a chip corner, a deli to get your sandwich on the go, fruits, veggies, meats, and dairy from local sources, bingo, bango, sodas, Wolfie's custard, a wall of beer and wine, and much more. Washington Perk is better than the convenience store, but not quite a grocery store. On Facebook, they're Washington Perk or at Washington Perk _DTWS on Instagram. Gatsby's is reopening on Wednesday. This is, according to them, Winston-Salem's oldest bar. Now, I know Rec Billiards has been in business longer. It's been there a long time. But it wasn't always a bar. It was a pool hall. Gatsby's has been Gatsby's for 35 years, but the building has housed a bar for over 80 straight years. So,
I guess they can claim that space has been in a
yes.
bar, whether it's Gatsby's or not.
Yeah, so
I was gonna say,
they're celebrating the bar, not Gatsby's.
there you go.
Yeah. The building that they're in is actually this year turning 101.
Cool.
Yeah.
I've always loved that end of downtown. There's some really cool spaces down there.
Yes.
And I remember Gatsby's from when I first moved to Winston.
Well, it happened in 86, and that's the year I did move to Winston. So,
Yeah, I got here in 88.
yeah. So it's been here a while.
Mm-hmm.
Mojito Latin Soul Food is your go-to Caribbean and Latin infused restaurant. The good news, like I've always said, is they reopened dining room, and they have that big outdoor space. And Steven said he went and had the Cuban, I think, and he hadn't had the Cuban. He had a mojito, an actual mojito, and some plantains. But he said he's going to go back. But he says the service was good and everything was on it. So that's good. I think that Cuban sandwich, the Cubano, is hands down the best sandwich in town. Had a discussion about that on Saturday night or Friday night. Friday night, yep. All the flavors punch you in the tongue, and the sandwich is made in the tradition that Michael Mion grew up with. Mojito Latin Soul Food does reservations, takeouts, and has a rather large outdoor patio, as I said, and do deliveries to surrounding businesses like Fiddle and Fish, Broad Branch, and Wise Man. Check them out. Their Facebook page is Mojito Latin Soul Food and MojitoLatinSoulFood.com. All right, time to talk a little bit about the Country Spinner.
Let's.
So we talked about last week what this Country Spinner was, and things that we had done about Mauritius. Well, Monday night we spun the wheel for the next country, and our next country is Malawi. Malawi.
Okay, there's another one that
Yeah.
I've never heard of.
Malawi is a country in the southeast area of Africa. Malawi and Zambia actually share a lot of culture and tradition, but actually their cuisine is largely unique to them, both Zambia and Malawi. It's not a lot of borrowed culture like we found with Mauritius. We have already made our first dish last night. It's called bunny chow and has nothing to do with rabbits. I don't know where the name comes from, but I'll have to do some research on that. I will say
Is it what bunnies eat?
I don't think so, because bunnies are vegetarians. So it is a curry, in our case chicken, which seems to be the traditional protein for this meal, with some beans and other spices, but topped with sambal, which is a tomato and onion salad-like garnish, and served in a bread bowl.
Oh,
Now
that sounds good.
I'll go over more of that later, but let me say that I actually made the bread bowls myself. And,
Congratulations.
And I was quite proud of them. I have never made bread before. So
It can be very tricky.
I will say that whoever says that baking is therapeutic is partially correct, because every time I do it, I need therapy.
You don't find the kneading of the dough very therapeutic.
Oh, I didn't do that. It was a stand mixer, my friend. KitchenAid is my friend. No. And
You've removed the therapy opportunity. It's kneading the dough and pounding it and all that kind of stuff.
I don't want all that all over my hands. It was bad enough what little I got. But I will say that I think the recipe that I used for it was a little missed. It was way too much water, so it took way too much flour and way too much time for this stuff to even get remotely set up. But whenever I did them, though, man, those things were huge. It would have been really good, humongous hamburger buns, but they were a little hard for that. But they were. That's the way you need them for the bread bowls. So
Right, you need that solid outside.
yeah. So I was worried about them because I'd never done it. I said, this is going to suck. It's not going to turn out good. I was prepared just to have stew in a bowl. And it turned out that the bread was actually pretty good. So,
Didn't suck after all.
No, when we cut the top off and started pulling out and I tasted it, I'm like, it tastes like bread. I did okay.
It doesn't taste like crap. It tastes like bread.
Right. This does not taste like crap. This does not suck. So that's the first thing, and I will post. Like I said, I'll post recipes and things about that later. But it was really good. I was proud of myself.
Some researched dishes coming up.
I have not moved beyond. I know there's a couple of things like SEMA, which is NSI or Shima, NSHMIA or something like that, which is a it's kind of, it's a rice, not rice, it's a corn, ground corn dish that's a lot like polenta in Italy and grits here in the South, but it's just made a special way. So I'm trying to figure out how best to do that, because I don't want to just take grits and do that, because it's not the same.
Right.
But yeah, so I've got to work on that. And there's a fish dish that I can't pronounce, or I don't remember, one of the two. I can't remember if I can't remember it or if I can't pronounce it.
A little both.
Yeah. But that, because 1/3 of Malawi is made up of Lake Malawi, and there's this certain fish that comes out of that they make their signature dish with, so that Nshima and this dish are staples. But I don't think that I can find that fish around here, so I might need to try to find something that's comparable to do, because remember, these are not exact dishes. These are inspired by, because a lot of the stuff I won't be able to find around here.
You'd have to go to Malawi to do their shopping.
Yeah.
And then, well, you'd probably have to go ahead and cook there, because fish doesn't really like to travel across multiple continents.
No, it wouldn't be good. So, yeah, so that's the only thing I know that I'm going to at least look into. I don't know if I'm going to have that, but I will look into it. But yeah,
I just think it's a cool thing. I think it's really cool.
Yeah.
What a great way to travel the world.
Yeah.
And like you said, even if it's inspired, hey, you learned something about this country and their culture and their history, and it's always a good thing.
I do know it's in the bottom of developed countries. It's not very developed. It's like the whole country is mostly agriculture, and we know what happens in agriculture based places, that that they're kind of poor usually. So this is definitely third world country like, but so I'll learn more and I'll report back when
look forward
that time comes. All right, so now we go from Country Spinner to our country and talk burgers. Burger Tour 21. Steven and I actually went to Mr. Barbecue, as they have reopened their dining room. So we have an official burger from Mr. Barbecue now.
So I'm not asking about how it ranks on the Burger Tour.
Okay.
I'm asking, as a review of Mr. Barbecue, are the burgers as good as you remember them?
They are very close. Like I've said, it's probably 20 years of seasoning on those old grills, and these are brand new grills. So we're trying to get to there, but we did both agree that it was a very good diner burger. So regardless of how it ranks in the Burger Tour, you would recommend people going there to have that burger? Oh, I would anyway. I mean, it's a staple to be there. I mean, while you're there, have a burger, take home some barbecue, do all that you need, because to me, it's the best barbecue in town. I like all my barbecue places here, so don't hear me wrong. I'm not singling them out over anybody. I'm just saying it's my favorite.
Well, and we like each one of them for different reasons.
Right.
But you're allowed to have your favorite. Come on now.
Right, and I do. It's this one.
I have my favorites too. Some of my favorites are gone.
Yeah, mine too. And then on Saturday night, I had a burger from Johnny B's Smokehouse. So,
I'm going to ask, was it a good burger?
it was serviceable. It was a good burger. I say good.
Okay.
Yeah. It won't be top 10. I'll go ahead and tell you. But it was worth eating. I would have it again. So
Well, that's always a key test. Would you come back?
yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. Yeah, there are others. I mean, it's a Greek-owned place. I mean, it doesn't have the appearance of Greek-owned, but there's a lot of Greek things on the menu, and it's once you get past the grill house part of it, it reverts back to the typical Greek diner, like spaghetti and other things that you find in a Greek diner.
Right, right.
Yeah, and everything is talking about, Greek trio and Greek this and Greek that. So it's definitely Greek owned. But yeah, it's just not outwardly so. Not that it has to
Right.
be. I'm just saying.
We have a great representation of restaurants that have a Greek background.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, Cafe Arthur's and obviously the ones that say Greek, but most of the seafood restaurants around, the locally owned seafood restaurants around here, are Greek. West Town, definitely Greek. Cagney's, all those are Greek owned. Yamas, Greek owned. Mama Zoe's, Waldo's Wings, Chin Chin. So yeah, all Greek owned and all delicious.
I was going to say the Greek community has just made a significant contribution to Winston-Salem.
Yeah. So that brings the question Stephanie asked at dinner on Saturday. Is that a thing everywhere, or is that a thing here? Like if you go to Richmond, is it a lot of Greek-owned restaurants that maybe not Greek restaurants, but Greek-owned restaurants? If you go to New York City, if you go to Atlanta,
Yeah, you can see a shift
yeah,
based on geography. I can't answer that question. I don't know.
Ray. I was counting on
I'm
you.
sorry.
Counting
I hadn't
on
been to all these other cities to answer that question. Now, I am open. I'll just say I am open to going on a road trip. Let's go talk to some restaurants across some different cities. We need a grant for that because, I ain't doing it for free.
you. No, me either. You know why?
We're going to have to eat. We can't go in there and talk to them and then not eat their food. So, we got to have a budget for, healthy budget for food.
Yeah. And not just
But yeah, I'm curious. Maybe some of our listeners have been in other communities that could say, hey, in this area, we saw that it was, maybe it was the Greek community again that was really predominant in the restaurant, or maybe it's a different ethnicity.
could be. That's
Curious.
right. So,
Y'all let us know.
yeah. So anybody who knows, send us a message if you'd like that. Send a message if you know of a burger on that I've not talked about yet that you think should be on my list. And again, don't send me one about Boondoggies or Nick's or Chin Chin or Hops, because yes, we are going there or have already been there. So just stuff that's off the beaten path, preferably. Send it to tim@themanwiththetown.com. So
That we wouldn't normally think of.
yeah, I want to know where that secret burger is that you just can't find without somebody telling you, you need to go try this
Right.
thing.
There's always that place.
Yeah. All right. The food holidays this week are sponsored by Diamondback Grill. It's casual dining located in the heart of Buena Vista in Winston-Salem. It is a fantastic family-owned farm-to-fork restaurant that sources most of its ingredients from local farmers. Try one of their themed menu specials. Each day is a different theme. I know Saturday is Burger Day. Friday is steak. I think Mondays may be meatless. I'm not sure. But each day is a different theme. So try them out. 751 Avalon Road. Find them on the web, diamondbackgrill.com, and Facebook and Instagram. I just realized that I didn't go to any of my sponsors this week. I know.
Ooh. Well,
I had-
you just double up.
Well, I had a lot of things going on, so just getting there was different. So,
I'm sure they can appreciate that every once in a while you aren't there,
that's right. I gotta go somewhere else.
but you're always giving them love.
Yeah.
That's consistent.
So today is the 17th. It is National Cherry Cobbler Day.
Ooh,
You know, I'm
I'd
not
be good with that.
I'm not big on cobblers. And Stephanie told me the story that there was some restaurant in Greensboro that she went to when she was in college, and they ordered a cobbler, and basically it was this pie, and the woman or somebody just took their fingers and poked it all through the pie to mess it up. And that was the cobbler. She cobbled it together.
Oh, come on. Oh, that's awful.
Yeah.
No, it's supposed to be, obviously, you do it very differently. The crust goes in first, and then you put all the fruit on top of it, and as you bake it, the crust comes through all of that.
Yeah.
So you get some of that fruit flavor in the crust.
That's not how that worked there.
No, they clearly have no concept of what a cobbler actually is.
It's also National Walnut Day. And oddly enough, I did it yesterday. It's World Baking Day.
Cool. You know what you call two nuts on a wall? Walnuts. But
I don't remember which one it is. There we go.
It's that one.
That one. In 1733, on the 17th, England passes the Molasses Act, putting high tariffs on rum and molasses imported to the colonies from any place other than Britain and its possessions.
It just makes me mad even now.
Yeah, I know.
That was just mean.
In 1792, under a tree near 68 Wall Street in New York City, 24 stockbrokers signed an agreement to commission rates. This agreement eventually led to the establishment of the New York Stock Exchange in 1817. In 1967, Tennessee repealed its 1925 law making it illegal to teach evolution in public schools. In 1979, a state record low temperature of 12 degrees was recorded at the summit of the dormant volcano Mauna Kea in Hawaii.
Oh, that's cold.
It is for them.
Well, Hawaii, some of those islands really, they have multiple temperate zones on the island. A friend of mine said they got a bike ride and went up to the top of this volcano and then just basically coasted down the mountain.
Mm-hmm.
She said it was freezing up top. And then as they came down, she said you could see all of the foliage was changing. It got lusher and lusher as they got down to the bottom. They get down to the bottom, it's like 80 degrees. Like, that's crazy.
Yeah. Yep. It's kind of
Maybe
like,
we should go check that out. There's another thing we need to put on the Man Who Ate the Town checklist.
I would go to Hawaii.
I would love that. Yeah, that's on my bucket list.
I would go to Alaska too. I like the thought of both of those. There's not
Yeah.
a lot of places in this country that I want to travel to. I'm more about Europe and potentially some Southeast Asian countries, but there are a couple of places I would like to go to, like San Diego or someplace like that, and certainly want to go. I certainly want to go to the Pacific Northwest. I want to go to Portland because that's like the beer capital of America. Alaska.
I've been to
Hawaii.
San Diego.
Yeah.
Loved it. Oh my gosh, what a great city.
An average temperature of what? 75 all year
72.
round? 72 all year round.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, it's insane. We went there it was in August. This is several years ago. We were actually staying in Palm Springs and drove over to San Diego. And it was in the hundreds in Palm Springs. It was 72 degrees. Phoenix, in San Diego.
Yeah.
There was hardly a cloud in the sky. I mean, you're right there at the coast. Absolutely gorgeous. I fell in love with the city.
How does it do that? How does it stay that temperate all the time?
It's a quirk of geography and climate that there it's nice and cool, but just a little bit further in, no, you hit desert. But it's only right there along the coast. I mean, that's, it doesn't take very long, and you cross over into some harsh territory.
Not far from deserts and stuff, right?
Right. Well, I mean, Joshua National Park is there.
Okay.
Joshua Tree.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's not a place you want to get lost.
Well, speaking of Alaska, in 1985, a record salmon, a Chinook salmon, caught with rod and reel weighed over 97 pounds and was caught in Alaska. Yeah.
That's some big stakes.
Mm-hmm. In 2020, grocery prices were on the rise. Some restaurants adding COVID-19 surcharge to bills. Some face negative feedback. More restaurants announced that they will permanently close. On the 18th, it's National Cheese Souffle Day.
I'm all right with that.
Yeah, I'm all right. And it's also I Love Reese's Day, and I do.
Oh, right. Who wouldn't?
Right. I don't
even E.T.
Yeah.
Reese's Pieces.
Exactly.
I don't usually talk about deaths, but in 1808, Elijah Craig died. He was a Baptist minister in Kentucky. He is an important figure in the invention of bourbon whiskey. He ran a paper mill and started a distillery in 1789. Legend credits him with being the first to use new charred oak barrels to age corn whiskey, which is a key step in making bourbon.
Yeah, because that oak gives it a flavor nothing else will.
I just find it funny that he was a Baptist minister. They're all that teetotaler crap. So,
yeah,
not progressive like many other ministers. In 1897, the Dow Chemical Company incorporated to sell bleach on a commercial scale. Clorox, as we know. 1593, TWA made the first nonstop transcontinental flight from Los Angeles to New York City in a DC-7.
That was a big deal then.
Yeah. 1988, Charles Dawson, again, I'm talking about somebody who died. Charles Dawson Butler, also known as Dawes Butler, died. Our friend Jim Young, who listens to this show, and I have had several discussions about Dawes Butler. He is a voice actor. He was the original voice of Captain Crunch. He was the mascot of the Quaker Oats cereal of the same name. Also, he was the voice of Huckleberry Hound, Yogi Bear, and dozens of other cartoon characters. Yeah.
Gee, Yogi, blow it out your ass.
So in 1994, the U.S. Food and Drug Administration declared the first genetically engineered tomato, the Flavor Saver, both without E's, was safe for human consumption. It was not a commercial success, and production ended in 1997, just 3 years later. In 2001, Hong Kong ordered more than 1 million chickens and other poultry killed to halt the spread of another bird flu epidemic.
Pretty sad when that's the choice.
Yeah. 2005, reminiscent of Hitchcock's movie The Bird, large black grackles attacked pedestrians in downtown Houston after a young bird had fallen from its nest. I guess they thought that humans were responsible for it falling. I'll show you.
You're going to take them out.
Yes. In 2020, states worry about tax revenue plunges during lockdowns and future layoffs of government workers. In 2021, I'm sorry. In 5/19, it's National Devil's Food Cake Day. And it's chocolate cake, so I figured you like that.
Yeah. I love devil's food cake. Love it. And you can top it with, all sorts of different stuff.
Yeah.
You can get creative with it. Yeah, sure.
Yeah. In 1713, on the 19th, more than 200 people rioted on Boston Common over the high price of bread. I stood at Boston Common. It was cool. It's a huge park right in the middle of Boston.
I've been there.
We loved Boston. Hate their sports teams with the exception of the Celtics, but love Boston. 1910, on the 19th, the Earth passed through the tail of Halley's Comet, and nothing happened. There had been dire predictions that everyone would die, and many hucksters sold comet pills to counter the effects of the comet gas.
Comet gas.
Yeah.
Yeah. That planet-wide comet gas. Haley's Comet's going, I'm sorry, man. I really shouldn't have had those beans when I passed Jupiter.
Yeah. Well, somebody said, price of gas going up. I fueled up. I got a full tank of gas for $3 at Taco Bell.
If only we could just harness all of that.
I know. Why can't we, if we can run on ethylene and methylene and all that stuff, why can't we run on, fart?
Good old-fashioned methane, yeah. Actually, when I was in high school, my stepfather and I devised a plan to be able to fuel school buses by feeding children lots of beans at lunch and then having collection ports in the seat of all the buses so that you got a steady supply of methane. That truck could go, or that bus could go for days.
Talk about your hybrids.
Keep feeding them beans. A whole lot cheaper than buying gasoline and much better for our environment.
A little smellier, but much better.
Yeah, much. And, some of those kids are really not going to do well with that high fiber bean diet. So, be prepared for other kinds of accidents.
Yeah. In 1927, on the 19th, the luxury Boston Ritz-Carlton Hotel opened. Room rates were a whopping $15 then. It was purchased by Taj Hotels in 2006 and renamed Taj Boston. Current room rates range from $350 to $3,000 a night. Yeah.
It's like the room better be something amazingly spectacular for $3,000 a night.
Yeah. Well,
it better come with some amenities that I'm not used to seeing in a typical hotel.
yeah. I don't know why anything would be that much, but I do recommend, if you go to Boston, to try to stay at the Omni Parker House. It's an old hotel. That's where the Boston cream pie started in their restaurant. And as the name applies, that's where the Parker House rolls came from.
Ah, okay. So they got good food there.
Both,
and it's historic.
Both Edith Wharton and Charles Dickens stayed in that hotel. So
Nice.
you get a little bit of that if you're into the literary aspects. In 1962, on the 19th, Marilyn Monroe sings "Happy Birthday, Mr. President" to JFK at a birthday salute at Madison Square Garden. On the
No scandal ensued.
Right. Nothing happened, just like Halley's Comet. In 2020, more restaurants announced that they are closing permanently. A Facebook survey of 86,000 small and medium-sized businesses report that 1/3 of businesses said they do not expect to reopen. On the 20th of May, it's National Quiche Lorraine Day. I used to know what quiche Lorraine was.
I have a friend named Lorraine, but I don't know that she has anything to do with quiche.
Same Lorraine that's friends with me?
I believe so.
Yes. Quiche, let's see.
So there's not many
Lorraine.
people I know named Lorraine.
So it's a quiche coming from the region, just a certain region in Germany,
Okay.
what I can tell.
But there's still something specific about it.
Yeah, so it includes lardons, which is basically bacon. Can be served hot or cold. Yeah, so it's basically quiche with bacon.
Okay. That would be good.
Yeah, I'm good with
Anything that's got bacon, you know.
it. Bring it. That's what I say.
Yeah.
The 20th is also National Pick Strawberries Day, and it is National Aperitif Day 2021, which is declared annually in a press release by Maison Lillet, the celebrated vintner in Bordeaux. So that's Thursday. On the 20th in 1810, Dolly Madison, wife of President James Madison, supposedly served the first ice cream at the White House for a reception. In 18...
Very important day. Very important day.
Yes.
Ice cream.
Ice cream.
And, you know, there's a road named after her in Greensboro.
Yes, Dolly Madison Road. In 1862, President Lincoln signed the Homestead Act into law. It opened millions of acres of western land to settlers. And we remember the homestead thing in Oklahoma where no one could buy anything or even go anywhere until midnight. Remember we talked about that a couple of weeks back. At midnight, people were allowed, because nothing clandestine was happening back then. Midnight, okay, well, no, you can't go yet. You have to wait till midnight. In 1874, jeans with copper rivets were patented by Levi Strauss and Jacob Davis.
Interesting.
Whatever
We're still
happened to
using that
Jacob
today.
Davis? Because we only know Levi Strauss.
Yeah. I don't remember hearing the Davis name before. So obviously he disappeared.
Like whatever happened to Roebuck?
Right.
It wasn't come see the softer side of Sears and Roebuck. It was come see the softer side of Sears.
Sears. Yeah. When we were growing up, it was still Sears and Roebuck.
Yes.
I don't know when that switched.
When people stopped saying Sears and Roebuck.
Started with Sears.
Yeah, I'm just going. I'm going over to Sears.
Well, it's like Federal Express kind of changed their name because everybody called them FedEx. I'm like, all right, well, fine, then we're FedEx.
Yeah, and nobody knows. Not nobody, but a lot of people, especially younger kids, don't know what UPS stands for. It's just ups.
Right. My little brother and sister, when they were very young, I mean, like 3-4 years old, for some reason, they wouldn't say UPS. It's not, hey, here goes the UPS truck. They always flopped it, and it was the PUS truck.
The bus truck.
It's the bus truck. Oh, yay.
Yeah.
I'm so happy. Let me run out to greet this one. It's the bus truck. Oh, I've been waiting all day.
Need some pus. Okay, enough of that on this food podcast.
Please.
On the 20th in 1875, the International Bureau of Weights and Measures was created. In 1884, L. Blue patented a hand corn sheller. Now, I want to know what the difference between a hand corn and a wart is. There's not,
A hand corn sheller.
yeah, it's not a hand corn. I was just making it up. It's corn chiller that you use with your hand.
For corn cobs.
Yeah.
You take the
Yeah.
takes the kernels off.
Yeah. That was pretty bad, so I'll give myself... I don't have a boom, 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 boom. So like on Price is Right. In 1892, George Sampson received a patent for a clothes dryer.
We were very happy about that.
In 1961, a record Jewfish, which thankfully was renamed to Goliath grouper, weighed 680 pounds and was caught off of Fernanda Beach, Florida.
Wow, that is a big fish.
Yes, it is. In 1993, the last episode of Cheers aired on TV on 520.
It was a sad, sad day in America.
Yeah. And also in Boston, we went to Cheers, which obviously was not a real bar, but the outside was real. And we went inside, and they had tried to recreate the best they could in the small space that they had in this historic building, but it was cool. On the 20th in 2009, the hot dog wars happened. Sarah Lee, who owned Ballpark Franks, sued Kraft Foods and Oscar Mayer Jumbo Beef Franks over claims that Oscar Mayer Franks are better than Ballpark Franks. It's a slap fest.
No, it's me. Yeah, I'm with you.
In 2020, travel restrictions at Canadian and Mexican borders remain in place indefinitely. Pier 1 plans to close all of its stores for good. Which is not good, but that's what they were doing.
I used to do a bunch of shopping at Pier 1.
I don't know that I've ever been in Pier 1. I guess I
always
missed
had
that one.
a selection of stuff from all over the country or all over the world. So if you were looking for kind of an international flair and something that was eclectic, Pier 1 was a good place for that.
Yeah. And on the 21st, it's National Waitstaff Day. What's left of them. It's also National Strawberries and Cream Day, International Tea Day, and National Pizza Party Day.
Oh, pizza party. I'll take that one.
Yes, please.
I mean, tea's okay, but pizza? Really? Tea? It's pizza.
I like tea.
I do too. But if I gave you a choice, cup of Earl Grey, hot, or nice piping hot slice of pizza, what you gonna take?
Oh, I'm definitely going to take the tea. No, I'm kidding. I'll take the pizza. Take the pizza. Because pizza.
Right.
So it is in 1853 on the 21st, the world's first aquarium or public aquarium, the Aquatic Vivarium, opened in Regent's Park, London. On the 21st, in 1881, Clara Barton founded the American Red Cross in Washington, D.C. In 1916, as it is here, too much confusion, daylight saving time was introduced in Britain as a wartime measure to save fuel. It's confusing here too every time. In 1920,
I don't know why we need to still do that. It doesn't make sense now.
No, it doesn't. And there's been talk, which are always is talk, about trying to do something about that, but we'll see if that ever happens.
Yeah, I'm with you. It's just been a lot of talk.
In 1921, on the 21st, Taggart Baking Company of Indianapolis, Indiana, introduced Wonder Bread. The red, yellow, and blue logo created by Taggart Vice President Elmer Klein was inspired by the International Balloon Race at the Indianapolis Speedway. That's pretty cool.
That is cool. Not what I would have anticipated.
In 1927, after a 33.5-hour flight from Roosevelt Field in New York, Charles A. Lindbergh landed in Paris at 10:24 p.m. in his single-engine airplane, the Spirit of St. Louis, the first solo flight across the Atlantic Ocean.
Very cool.
In 1957, George B. Hansberg of Walker Valley, New York, received a patent for his invention of an improved pogo stick, which is obviously a vertical pole with footrests and a spring-loaded assist to enable hopping.
I'm so glad that somebody
Finally
improved the pogo
improved
stick.
that. Yeah, it needed some definite
'Cause-
improvement.
The world's pogo experience was severely lacking.
In 2009, on the 21st, after months of numerous technical failures, a new recycling system was activated on the International Space Station. The new system recycles astronauts' urine and sweat into drinking water.
You
I think I would
can just see them over dinner. You know, this kind of tastes like you.
What did you eat?
We got to change your diet, buddy.
On the 21st, this coming Friday, my nephew turns 22 years old. And,
Congratulations and happy birthday.
And my mother-in-law turns 80.
That's awesome. You have got big plans to do something for 80?
I think the brother-in-law is supposedly coming into town, and we're gonna go out to eat. I need to contact Kimberly and see if she can accommodate us at Diamondback.
That would be an excellent place to go.
I think so. It's my go-to for meetups and things. So, on the 22nd, it's National Maritime Day, which is annually to honor the U.S. Merchant Marine. It's also National Vanilla Pudding Day.
One of your favorite kinds.
Yes, I actually love vanilla pudding. I like vanilla just about everything. In 1819, American steamship SS Savannah sailed from Savannah, Georgia, for Liverpool, England, the first steamship to cross the Atlantic. It arrived at Liverpool on June 20th, so not quite a month, but almost. In 1892, Dr. Washington Sheffield invented the collapsible metal toothpaste tube, which is not used so much today, but it is the archetype of what we do use that's basically plastic now. But I'm sure that some of them are still a little bit metal.
Yeah. Clearly, his design, we've kept the concept.
Yeah. In 1931, canned rattlesnake goes on sale. Packed by George K. End of Arcadia, Florida. Not quite as big a hit as Spam. I think it disappeared quickly.
Gosh darn, canned rattlesnake was just always such a favorite as a child.
I know, it's what we always looked forward to. There was
Oh,
potted
just like
meat.
Grandma used to make.
There was potted meat and canned rattlesnake.
Oh,
Sometimes together on a cracker.
I'm not going to be hungry for lunch today.
On the 22nd in 1946, potted meat. That wasn't really
Yeah.
meat, I don't think. I don't think that was a meat-like food. Wasn't even food. In 1946, on the 22nd, the Culinary Institute of America, the CIA, is founded. Chef Travis Myers, who is a friend of the show and mine, is a graduate of the CIA.
Mm-hmm.
In 1956, on the 22nd, Lever Brothers registered the Whisk trademark for America's first liquid laundry detergent.
Interesting.
In 1990, see how you like this one, Microsoft releases Windows 3.0.
Whoa. Let's reach back for that one. Dang.
Yeah. I don't think I ever used 3.0. The first one I ever remember using was 3.1.
Truthfully, I couldn't tell you now.
I'm pretty sure it was 3.1 that I used. In 2005, on the 22nd, another death. Thurl Ravenscroft died. He was another voice actor, best known for Tony the Tiger. They're great! And he also is the singing voice of You're a Mean One, Mr. Grinch.
I always loved that song.
You're black. Greasy peel. On the 23rd, it's National Taffy Day. In 1774, on the 23rd, residents of Chestertown, Maryland, react to news of the Boston Tea Party by staging a similar protest, dumping a shipment of tea into the Chester River. In 1922, Thomas Edison patented a method for making metal foils, like aluminum and tin. In 1933, Max Wasserberg of Brooklyn received a patent for a collapsible beach and lawn chair.
Made our trips to the beach a whole lot more comfortable.
Yes, and sitting in the yard. In 1939, William Underwood registered the Underwood trademark for canned deviled ham, another one of those lovely things like potted meat. In 2016, archaeologists uncovered a 5,000-year-old brewery in the central plain of China. It is the oldest beer-making facility ever discovered in China. Residue from inside the uncovered pots and funnels included a mix of fermented grains, broomcorn millet, barley, and Job's tears, a chewy Asian grain also known as Chinese pearl barley. The beer recipe also called for tubers, which were added to sweeten and flavor the beer. Tubers are basically root vegetables like potatoes, sweet potatoes, jicama, carrots, things like that. That was
interesting that it was 5,000 years old.
Yeah. In 2020, the Minnesota State Fair is canceled for that year. Many states open beaches for Memorial Day weekend. The coronavirus is still causing problems at meat and poultry plants, which we still, to this day, feel the effects of, because meat and poultry is expensive right now. So that's your food holidays and history for this week. Special thanks to James Ehler at foodreference.com for making us chuckle, roll our eyes, know that we do not want any water on the space station. And
I'm sure that it's just fine. But yeah.
No thanks. I'd drink a Budweiser before I drink that.
And
that's saying something.
That's, I don't mind that the dog drinks out of the toilet, but I don't want to drink out of the toilet.
Right.
Even after it's been purified.
Which, truth be known, if we are on municipal water, we're drinking water that has been basically recycled.
Oh, yeah.
So
yeah.
I like to say whenever I'm having water, hey, I'll take some more dinosaur pee, because that's exactly what it is. The water we're drinking right now is the same water that they were drinking back then. So There you go. There is no new water.
Nope. Now, it does get nicely purified after it's gone through lots of soil and rock to get back to the aquifers that eventually bring it back to the surface. But
or waste treatment plants.
Right.
Yeah.
I know a guy that works for a company that builds and manages those plants, and yeah, it's pretty fascinating, the stuff that they're dealing with.
Yeah, I mean that's a technological true genius, really.
Yeah. It's all of the moving parts are just what you do that too. Pretty incredible.
Yeah. Well, the Man Who Ate the Town podcast is part of the Less Desirables podcast network. Along with this podcast, you can listen to the Less Desirables, The Beer Dads, Fan Interference, Beeswax, Milo Moore, Wheeler's Dog, and Asylum Tales from the Devereaux Diaries podcast. You can find all of these podcasts and their latest episode on our network website in directory tldpodnetwork.com. You'll also find social media links to each one as well. This is a reminder to all of our listeners, and not just for now, but for always. We'd appreciate it if you wash your damn hands. Wash with warm water and soap. Wash with that soap for 20 seconds or more. Sing along to this song if you can't figure out how long 20 seconds is.
Maybe someday, saved by zero, I'll be more together, stretched by thoughts that
Now is the time on Sprockets when we dance.
chasing after my dream is only loaded with danger. So maybe I'll lose saved by zero.
So that's from the album Reach the Beach, which was released actually on the 15th, but the single, I think, for that was released on the 17th, which is today. It's more Boston connection with that. That's the band that Stephanie and I went to Boston to see. That's why we were in Boston on the Reach the Beach 30th anniversary tour. And it was, I have to admit, they sounded exactly the same as the record, but you could tell it was live. It wasn't fake.
Yeah.
Size, it's not Cy Sperling. That's the guy with the hair club for men. Cy Cernan. He's the singer. He sounds just as good now as he did back then.
I actually got to see them back in the day. They were opening up for the Moody Blues.
Okay.
And that was a great show. The Fix did a great performance.
Yep. Yeah, they were fantastic. We really enjoyed our time there. It was at a place called City Winery, and it was like a dinner club thing, but the show was really, really good. I was very impressed and very glad we went.
I've always enjoyed their music. Just had such a unique sound to it that I always loved it.
Yep. And very accessible. So it's really easy to listen to. Well, keep an eye on my blog and this podcast to find out more about the food news and happenings around town. If you have any food news, send an email to Tim or Leah or Ray at The Man Who Ate the Town. You can contact us on Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter Instant Messengers. Like us on Facebook. On Twitter, we are Man Who #8 The Town. On Instagram, we are Man Who Ate the Town. And we invite you to call and leave a voicemail for the podcast by calling 336-422-6862. That's right, 336-422-NUM. And leave a voicemail, and we'll play it on the podcast. Again, 336-422-NUM, 6862. My name's Tim.
My name's Ray.
And we're closing the recipe box. Until next time, thank you for reading, and thank you for listening. Bon appetit. Yamas. The views and opinions stated by me or any of my guests are solely those of ours and do not necessarily reflect the opinions of our hosting companies, distributors, enemies, friends, or relatives. This podcast is copyrighted and cannot be reproduced or distributed without express written consent of the Man Who Ate the Town, that's me, and Such Limited Inc. However, if you ask nicely, we'll probably let you.